Hi, I'm Johanny from Cormorant Roasters. Today we're going to do a video on how to set up your gas on your Cormorant coffee roaster. We're going to take it all the way from connecting to your propane cylinder, which regulator to use, how to connect the hose onto your regulator, and then also how we connect the hose onto the Cormorant roaster. And then we will also do a check to do an inspection on the gas system, and just to learn a few more things as to how we use the gas roaster. Okay, so just to show you what the parts that we're using here, this is the gas hose with this flared 3/8 fitting that fits onto the back of the roaster. The other side connects to the regulator. This is the one that I use here on our system. It's a 0 to 4 bar adjustable high pressure regulator. In PTFE tape, the type that you use on gas fittings, and then just a couple of tools like the wrench and screwdriver to do the connections. I'm going to take you through firstly the first stage regulator. Here in the UK you get sort of 0 to 2 bar, this is a 0 to 4 bar. It's nice because it's got the gauge on it. On the side that leaves, or the gas goes in on the side that the gas comes out, make sure that you've got an 8 millimeter hose fitting on here. Right, so to fit your first stage regulator onto the cylinder, the type of fitting that we've got here, you've got to just screw it in. Of course, because it's gas, it turns in to tighten goes anti-clockwise. I like to set it up so I can see the gauge, so I kind of tilt it back a little bit. And with this ball fitting that's on there, you don't have to over tighten, so I just tighten up that, and that's basically connected there. Alright, now I'm going to fit the gas hose to it. I'm going to put one on just for the roaster side, and then this side. You can see I've used the PTFE tape here. And we just, it's a nice tight fit. Right, and make sure it's nice and firm on, and we will test it for any form of leaks. Right, so that's that side now connected to your propane cylinder. We're going to do the other side where we connect to the roaster now. So we're going to fit this now onto the cylinder. To tip the roaster up, I just put a little piece of protective material down and just land the roaster on it. And then I'm just going to turn this around. This brass flared fitting, we insert an O-ring on the inside there, so that you get a really nice seal with this flared fitting that fits on here. Also means you don't have to over tighten this fitting when you put it onto your roaster. And then we will use this clamp just to tighten up on the hose. To put this on, I'm going to just use the hose to kind of twist it. It's pretty much tight, and just to tighten up the last little bit, and you don't have to over tighten this, we're just going to give it a, and that's it, just as it grabs, that's enough. And then we put our hose clamp on. It. Right, while we have the roaster standing up like this, there's a couple of things to inspect as the roaster has arrived and after you've done your assembly. The main thing to have a look at is to make sure that your gas jet is sort of sitting in the center of this bell where the air and the gas mixes and goes into your burner. Just make sure that that's sort of pointing into the middle of it, and that the jet end is sort of just inside this bell. And then the other parts that we kind of inspect is just make sure that everything looks correct. It doesn't look like anything is bent. In general, it shouldn't be an issue. And then when we do a gas check, we're going to check this fitting here, and we're going to make sure that this T-bar area, that there are no leaks. Right, so we're going to open our gas cylinder, and what you will see here with this adjustable dial, I've set my pressure on my first aid regulator to be around about the 1 bar, and when we ignite the roaster, it'll actually even come down to about 0.8 bar or 800 millibar. I like the pressure on the hose not to be very high going to the roaster, but as long as it's above the sort of 500 millibar, that is perfectly set up. Alright, so now we're going to turn the roaster and just do a first ignition. So to do your first ignition on the roaster, I first want to just show you what the burner looks like and the setup around that. Now, this is your burner, it's a ceramic burner. This probe that sits here is the thermocouple, and it's a safety device that will cut the gas out if the burner flame goes out. We have a ceramic fitting here with this black pipe or wire that connects to it. That's the spark that travels to this gas fitting here. This is the gas supply that does the ignition for the burner. Alright, so I'm just going to close this. Right. So to do your first ignition, just remember that there's a bit of air in the hose still before the propane comes through. We switch the airflow on, and I put this dial at about sort of between 5 and 6 volt. Then to work this dial, you push the dial down and you turn it anti-clockwise to the 9 o'clock position until you hear the click. Now you can hear the click and the gas is going. About 2-3 seconds you can let it go. The dial would have come around to about the 50 millibar, some overread and some underread a little bit, but it's more or less in that region. At this point in time now, you can actually see that your burner is on. I'm going to tilt this back again. And here you can see there's a bit of a blue flame, and the burner plate is starting to go red. The longer you leave it, the redder that plate will go. At this point in time, I'm going to just switch that off and then just close this back up again. So after your first ignition has been done and that all works fine, we just want to do a quick check for gas leaks. And so I'm going to turn this roaster just back onto its left hand side, and I'm just going to, that's why I put the protective material down so we can turn it like this. Right there. And for this you need just a little bit of soapy water and a paintbrush. Right, make sure that your power supply is plugged in, and what we're going to do is just turn the fan on. And the first test we're going to do is just around your fitting here. Now this is currently under pressure because the propane cylinder is still open. I'm going to take a bit of soapy water, and I'm just going to dab it around this area here, and the same around the area, and hopefully there should be, or nothing should happen, but if there is a bit of bubbles forming, then you will know that there's a leak. But at this point you can see there's no leaks there. Then we're going to do a quick ignition. And with the gas running like that, we just do a quick check in this area here, just to make sure that there is no leaks in that area. And with nothing showing up, we will switch the gas off, and we can switch the air off. Alright guys, just so we've done the initial setup with the gas. We have done our first ignition and made sure that that's all working. We've done now a gas test as well to make sure there's no leaks. So once you've turned your roaster back to where it is now, I'm just going to go for, so when you're setting up for your first roast, the procedure in terms of what you do to get that done, you start off by putting your airflow on, and I have it mostly set up at about 6 volt. Turn your drum on so that your drum starts rotating. Once again here I go to about 5 to 6 volt, just so it's slowly rotating. and then do a gas ignition, and we've ignited, let it go, turn your dial slowly back towards the 12 o'clock position until you get to about 20 millibar, and you let it sit there. That's how you warm your roaster up for your first roast. When you're done and you're switching it off, turn off your gas first, turn your drum off, and then turn your fan off. So guys, that basically concludes connecting to the cylinder, connecting to your roaster, the gas, and doing your first kind of test on the roaster before you start roasting. Thanks for watching our video. Please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button and the notifications. Thank you.